Hey guys, Chris Funk here. Going to do something a little bit different this time. I'm going to do a rod building video. But I want to lay some ground rules first. Number one, this is not a how-to. I'll show you what I've learned. I've been doing it a little while now and having a blast with it. My main purpose is not to show you how to build a rod. There are wonderful resources out there from Mudhole, other companies that are out there on how to do it, how to put eyes on, how to put colorful wraps on, how to make them fancier than you could ever hope to fish with. I don't do that. My rods are going to be good, strong, solid, colors that I like, the things that I like to do, but there are much better resources out there showing you how to do something. My main purpose in this video is to show you that you can, because if I can do it, anybody can do it, and I've had an absolute blast doing it. These were my first couple, and I really like these. They've got the wind grip handles, which are about my favorite handles on them. And these, I've really enjoyed these rods a whole lot. I love this size. This is an MHX blank, which is an upper level blank, and to me it builds an excellent rod for a decent price for me. You know, I probably end up having, you know, $120 in the rods, and they're probably on the market, you know, you're talking a 250 up rod. But I really like these. They've got lifetime warranties on the blanks, and I can make them the colors and do what I want with them. Now, just to show you what you can do, this little stumpy looks like a corgi. It's got a short leg on it, but this rod is 7.6, and I designed it specifically to throw a tiny bait long distances for chasing schooling fish. Now, this is a 10-2 braid, 10-pound test and 2-pound diameter, and it can throw an 1/8-ounce bait, I mean a country mile. So I specifically built this rod around one method that I like. So just to show you what you can do. Now, my fly rods, this is a 9-foot 8 weight. I don't break it here. This is a 9-foot 8 weight. Very nice rod. This is a 3 weight, and I think it's a 7-foot 9-inch 4-piece. So a lot of fun with little fish. You know, to me, fly rods, they're a big pain in the butt. Each eye takes 2 wraps, so it's definitely a lot more work. I think this one had like 26 individual wraps on the entire rod, so I wouldn't start with a fly rod. And I'm just giving you my advice. I'm not positive I'll do any more fly rods because they're a heap of work, but I like these other ones. That's what we're going to work on. All right, if you order a complete kit from Mudhole, you get everything that you need except for, you know, the epoxies and the color thread that you want to use to build it up. But this is a teal blank. It's the CRB blank from Mudhole, and I ordered the teal because that's what I'm building this one for my wife. I've got some metallic aqua thread that's going to go on there, but I wanted it to be a little special, so I specifically ordered a 2-tone handle. I've got the real seat, and then the black eyes, and then also the one thing that you don't think about is the tip top. Now, the tip top are all different sizes. You could put little bitty eyes on a great big old rod, but the tip top is size specific. So I had to order, I think this was a 5.5 millimeter, but if you look on the blank, it'll tell you what size tip top to get, and that's what I've got is the end eyelet here. I've also got a winding check that goes down in front of the handle just to add a little extra flair. Like I said, I'm building it for her. I wanted it to be kind of special. All right. Now, one thing that I've learned in this mess is trying to find the spine of a rod. Now, all rod builders think that that's real important, but what I found is all of my production rods, none of them are done correctly. So I don't know how big of a deal it is, but now that I know to look for it, I try to pay attention to it. CRB has a spine finder little tool. All it is a couple ball bearings. Honestly, all you need is a hard surface. A tile floor is one of the best things in the world to do it on. But you put a pretty good bow in a rod, and if you turn it, I don't know if you can see that tape next to my hand, but it'll stop. Now, that one's kind of off center, and that one is perfectly up and down. So this rod has actually 2 spines. It's got a secondary and a primary. The primary is the one I'm looking for, and this is the way the rod wants to bend. Now, if I was going to build this with a spinning reel, I'd put the reel on this side. Build it with a casting reel, I'm going to put it on the other side, because this is going to be a casting reel for my bride. But that's the way the rod wants to bend right there. So that's my spine, and that's the flag that I'm going to go off of. You lay it out about like you want it to go. You can change your lengths of your handles however you want things laid out. But this is about what I'm looking for laying it out. And I'm going to mark my areas. This lets me know where each piece is going to go so that I can check with my micrometer. These are all the reamers that come with the reamer kit. If I had to say one thing, don't skip buying. It's a good set of reamers. This will save you a lot of worry and trouble on these handles. This is if you want to do it manually. I'll be chucking it up in the drill. One thing about it with the drill is be careful because it's easy to remove too much material. And what I'm doing is checking it with my mic. I know where I want it to go. So I'm going to go down on the reamer and get just past that, because I want it snug, but you don't want it so snug that it pushes away all the epoxy. Right there. Slide these on. Come over my tape. See, that's pretty snug, so I want to loosen it up. I want a little bit more. I want to get to that mark right there. And that's perfect. See, right there it's snug, so just ½ inch past my mark, so that is perfect. That's the real seat. It's going to come down and tuck in. So I want that right there. $3.99. Beauty. Alright, now you see this part's floppy right here. I've got to build the arbor for this. Alright, I'm fixing to start building up the arbor for the real seat, but I got to glue my lower handles on first. I use Pro Paste. That's what this stuff is. It's just a 2-part epoxy. You've got plenty of working time. There is no rush. This stuff is not like a 5-minute epoxy, so it's not going to harden up on you. You've got plenty of time. Do not rush through this part. My best tip for you is to keep paper towels handy and denatured alcohol for cleaning up. First thing we're going to do is put that fighting butt on. You're going to put it on there and kind of twist it as it goes. You'll see it'll kind of burp. And clean that off with my finger. I'll slide a winding check down. It's just a little old piece of rubber. All it does is finish it off the edge of the handle. Makes it look a little nicer. Probably protects it in the long run. But it comes right up there and tucks up against it. I'm getting an email. Better not be one of y'all sending me nothing ugly. Take that little denatured alcohol and just go around that area. It'll clean it up pretty good. The next winding check, and it's going down to my mark that I made earlier. And then the next handle. Now the handle I'm going to stop short, about the same distance that I need to glue it. Alright, now as I go on, I'm twisting. Before I get to that check, I want to take out that gob, because there's no way that check will cover that up. Gob is a technical term. Slightly more than a wad. Because your real seat has to go here. Now remember, I've got it marked on which way that I wanted that handle to go, on which way I wanted the reel to sit. But in here I need to make 3 stands, 3 arbors to hold this reel seat. And they don't have to be exact spots, but I want it to cover the inside of that space. 605. Alright, so 605. So I know what I need to build these up to. Alright. 605, that one's good. Alright, if we did our miking right, this will slide right on there. And you see how pretty that is? So what I want to do is put a good gob of epoxy. It's going to go between all these areas. And this is effectively going to be a solid piece when you're done with it. Alright. Now remembering which way my flag is, that's the way I want to end up. Alright, so I'm tucked up against. I've got my clearance like I want. Everything is smooth in there. You see it's tight right here to the end. Now when I slide the next piece down, it'll be just perfect. Precision gluing instrument. Like I said, I want to take some of that gob off because I don't want to force it up into those threads. Alright. Now one special thing, I don't know how well you can see it, I'll show it a little closer up. I bought her one of these knurled aluminum winding checks for the end. I don't have anything that fancy, but like I said, I wanted to dress this up for her. So. Get a complete turn around. Alright, that's it. Rod handle 098. Alright, fixing to lay out the eyes on the new rod. Now you can't just do that wherever you want to. You get not all willy-nilly. So if you look on the back of the eyes, there's a chart and it shows you for a 7-foot 6-inch rod, a 7-foot rod, or 6.6. This is a 6.6, so this is what we'll be dealing with. These are our measurements from the eye. Now, this is one tool that I bought from CRB. It comes in the rod builder kit. It's got a laser on one end, which to me is totally useless. But the other end's got a tape measure, and it fits in the reel seat. So the tape measure pulls out, and I'm going to go ahead and make my marks. I'll use them with a grease pencil, and I'll show you that in just a second. Alright, I don't know how easy it is to see my little marks. But going off of these, what I do is actually go an 1/8 inch shorter, because that's where my wrap's going to go. And I don't like cleaning up the marks, so my wrap is actually going to go over my mark. So, but it has it right on the mark for the guides. Alright, you can see how I got them laid out, how they're going to go. Because the only two that are different sizes are the first two. So I've got them laid out, and then all the rest that are going to follow are the same size. And the hook keeper. So I've got them laid out here where I can just see them. That way I can check them against my marks, make sure all my stuff is here. Alright, you see my mark, see the eye, and this little zip tie. Now, a buddy of mine, Rob Kyle, showed me this trick with these zip ties, and that makes it really handy just to be able to move wherever I need to get it started at. And I can start there, and once I get started on this end, I'll clip the zip tie off. But just wanted to show you that. Alright, you can see we got the metallic down on the front and back, and we got a splash of hot pink on there for color. That's all we're going to do for these, just put a tiny bit on the lower end, just to give it a little bit of extra flash. Alright, you can see this is one of the single foot guides. Oh no, how easy it is to see that. But that's a colored case hardened kind of tip, you know, just wanted a little splash of color up there for her. And I don't know how important this winding is, but I always add that just as a almost like a strike indicator. But we're ready for epoxy now. Got her set up in the drying rack, fixing to put on the epoxy. Gonna go over each of the areas that I wrap plus my decals and all that, so we'll show her to you when she's done. You see how pretty that metallic gets, you know, once it gets under the epoxy. Now this flame, you're going to run underneath there just shortly just to pop any bubbles, but you do not want to spend much time doing that. Trust me, it's just a wave through there and then you're done. It doesn't take much at all. In full 100% honest disclosure, I made this more like I like it and not thinking very much, unfortunately, about my poor little old 4-foot 10-inch bride who has much shorter arms than I do. So I'm going to end up shortening this, and honestly I found a two-tone handle butt that matches the rest of the handle, so I'm going to put this on here anyway. I've already measured my mark and where I'm going to go. I've got my new winding check that's going to go up, and I'm fixing to mix the epoxy, and I'm going to cut this with a Dremel. Just want to show y'all, you know, that you can make changes. There it is, finished product. You know, she loves the Zebco style reel and that Omega. It's got 8 ball bearings, cool instant and reverse, got a very good drag on it. So, you know, if that's what she likes to fish, that's what she gets. So I buy her the best that I can get in what she likes. Got a custom sticker on there. This wasn't a how-to. You could call it a 098 rod building video for remedial anglers, but you know, I've got a custom rod, fully custom, that my bride will love. It fishes well, at least the little one that I built her does, so I know this one will too. So just want to show you a build along, but she's tickled pink, and man, that's all that matters to me. So just want to show you all that. Y'all take care, try it yourself.